everybody, welcome to my channel. My name's Mel. Thank you so much for joining me today for August's Roll of Reads. So if you've been watching my channel for a little while, you would know that the way that I choose my TBR each month is through my TBR game, The Roll of Reads. Now I will link the playlist with all of the previous Roll of Reads that I have done, as well as a recent video that I made where I went through all of the different prompts that I have for the Roll of Reads and also gave you all of the rules so that you will know what on earth is going on. But I do just want to let you know that we have made a few different changes even from when I last spoke to you, which was in that video. So this is the new board. So it's a bit bigger than the previous board. This is made from a bit of spare plywood that we had, so it's nice and sturdy. The old one was getting pretty beat up, as I'm sure you would remember. So we still have our 1 through till 20, and as you can see, number 1 has the down arrow to indicate that we're not very happy, and 20 has the up arrow to indicate that yay, we are very happy. So just to give you a very quick rundown, I have 1 to 20 squares on the board, and then I have about 60 cards. I shuffle the cards and place 1 through 20 out. Then I take my 12-sided dice and roll that to determine how many books I'll have to read, how many rolls I'll have to do. Then I take my 20-sided dice and I have to roll my 20-sided dice to find out which numbers I will land on. I roll it the number of times the 12-sided dice told me to, and then I do all of the prompts that are on the cards. And then the reason there's an arrow on a 1 is if I roll a 1, I have to roll another roll, so an extra roll on top. But if I roll a 20, and this is why we have the arrow pointing up, then I can basically do what I want. I can replace the prompt with a different prompt or put a buddy read in or something like that, or I can completely get rid of a roll if I have too many other rolls. Because in addition to having to add a roll if I land on a 1, I also have to add a roll for any books from the previous month that I didn't at least start and get part way through. So I kind of just read the first page. I have to have read a little bit of the book before I can say that it's somewhat read, so that I can not count it as an extra roll. So that leads us into reviewing last time we did this TBR game. So most of you, if you've been around again for a little while, would know that we didn't do a TBR game for July. The reason for that is because it is currently the India Chords Readathon, and I am team captain for the literary, contemporary and historical fiction team, so I didn't want to, it was just going to be too confusing to try and read indie books that fit all of the prompts that were one of those 3 genres that also fit the role. So I decided not to do it, which means we are going back to June's TBR game to see how I went and what kind of position I am in. So let's go through that one now. So here is a stack of books that I was supposed to read in the month of June. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus 3 ebooks that I was supposed to read. So let's go through and see how I did in June. First roll we got for June was a non-human main character, and for this one I chose A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J Maas, and I did read this one. The next roll was to start a series, and for this I chose to read Every Heart a Doorway by Shauna Maguire, and I did read that one. Then I rolled Subscriber's Choice, and for this one you guys ended up choosing for me Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas, and I did read that one. The next roll that I got was to read a book by an Australian Aboriginal author, and I chose The Disappearance of Ember Crow by Amberlynn Quay Molina, and I didn't get to this one, so I'll have to add a roll for this book. The next prompt I got was Twitter pick, and for this one you guys chose for me Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor, and I didn't read that one, so that is another roll I have to add. The next prompt that I got was a friend picks, and for this one my friend Alison chose for me Kindred by Octavia E. Butler, and I did read this one. Then I got the prompt to read a POC author, so a person of colour, and for this one I chose A Torch Against the Night by Sabah Tahir. I as you can see, am halfway through this book, just over halfway through this book. I actually was really hoping I would get it finished by the end of June, and I was then thinking I'd read it in July, but it was taking a little longer than expected, and I wanted to get on and do some reading for the readathon that I am co-hosting, so I've put it aside. But I am over halfway through, so that means that I don't have to count it as a punishment. The next prompt that I got was a New York Times best-selling author, and for this one I decided to go with A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J Maas, and I didn't read that one, so I'll have to count that again as a punishment. The next prompt that I got was to read a young adult, and for this one I decided to read A Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. I was buddy reading this one with my friend Lana from Lore and Lullabies, and we did manage to read that one. And the next prompt that I got was to read a book set in Australia, and for this one I chose What Alice Forgot by Leanne Moriarty, which I did read. And then for my punishment from the previous game for the month of June, I got to do a reread, and for that I chose The We Free Men by Terry Pratchett, and I didn't read that one, so my punishment becomes another punishment. So that means I have 4 books that I didn't read during the month of June, which means in the month of August I have to add another 4 rolls to my whatever I roll on my 12-sided dice. So this could get very busy. Let's see how we go. So I also do have some buddy reads and different things that I need to do in August, so I'm really hoping that I'll be able to fit those in. I do, as usual, have my book into film club that I'm going to try and fit in. I usually do a buddy read with Connor, and we haven't decided what that will be, so depending on how my TBR goes, we'll just see what happens. But I think it's Connor's turn to pick, so we'll see. Anyway, so that will probably be an additional on top of whatever else happens. Then I have a buddy read with Kat from Brews and Reviews, and she and I actually are going to be buddy reading 2 books. We'll be reading A Heart So Fierce and Broken and A Vow So Bold and Deadly by Bridget Kemmerer. This is book 2 and 3 of the Cursebreaker trilogy. And then of course I have the new book club that my friends Lana and Ellie and I are running, so this is the last to read book club. If you want to find out more about that or join in with us, then I will link my announcement video in the description below and in the eye up above, so you can go and check that out. For this first ever month where we're doing the book club, we will be reading Every Breath by Ellie Marnie. So this is the first in a trilogy, which is the Every trilogy. Ellie from Earl Grey Books actually chose this one. It's one of her favourite series of all time, and Lana and I thought it sounded fantastic, so yeah, we're really hoping to read this one. I mean, we are going to read this one. I'm really hoping to fit it into the TBR, but it's definitely a book I'll be reading regardless of what happens with my TBR and my rolls. Okay, so let's go and start our game. Just one more thing before we do though, I just wanted to remind you also that if I roll the same number during this particular game more than 3 times, then I have to add another roll. And also, if I wind up getting my 3rd of a particular card, then that means I get to buy a book at some point. As it turns out, in my previous games, now I've got the information here on the computer, so let's have a look. I actually got the card Set in Australia and New York Times best-selling author 3 times, as well as Australian Aboriginal author. So that means that for those 2, I should have been able to buy myself a book. I did do a little bit of a book haul, which you'll see later, so I'm going to say that I did manage to do that. So let's go now and set up, and we will roll our 12-sided dice to see how many rolls we have to do. And we'll place the cards. And then we need to do our, we have some very helpful kitties. Alright, and we will pop our extra cards here for when we need them. Rowan's just trying to get a consistent level of light on the... Thanks, honey. That's alright. It's a home movie. People don't expect it to be amazing. So the first thing we need to do is roll our 12-sided dice and see how many rolls I'm going to have to do overall. 11. Oh dear. I mean, it's not 12, but it could be better. Anyway. Okay, so as you just saw, I rolled an 11 But because I didn't read 4 books from my June TBR, I have to do 15 rolls. So if I roll a 1 or I roll any of the numbers more than 3 times, then this is going to be a very long TBR. So let's see how we go. All right, let's go. First roll. 14. This one here, a library book. And we'll grab the next card. I'm not going to look at it. I'm going to try and show you guys without looking at it. Okay, so roll number 1 was 14, and for that we got a library book. So I haven't actually chosen this one yet. I will insert a clip of myself going to the library and choosing a book, and yeah, you'll get to see what that is just now. Not really sure exactly what I'm looking for. I'm kind of hoping something jumps out at me. Alright, so there are a few contenders in the end, but the one that I ended up picking was Akane by Lynette Noni. So I'll just read the blurb to you. With just one step, 16-year-old Alexandra Jennings' world changes, literally. Dreading her first day at a new school, Alex is stunned when she walks through a doorway and finds herself stranded in Medora, a fantasy world full of impossibilities. Desperate to return home, she learns that only a man named Professor Marcel can help her, but he's missing. While waiting for him to reappear, Alex attends Arcane Academy, Medora's boarding school for teenagers with extraordinary gifts. She soon starts to enjoy her bizarre new world and the friends who embrace her as one of their own, but strange things are happening at Arcane, and Alex can't ignore her fear that something unexpected, something sinister, is looming. An unwilling pawn in a deadly game, Alex's shoulders bear the crushing weight of an entire race's survival. Only she can save the Medorans, and what if doing so prevents her from ever returning home? Will Alex risk her entire world and maybe even her life to save Medora? Sounds great. Roll 2 is 18. Alright, 18 is this one here. Neurodivergent rep. And let's replace it. That's the card we're replacing it with. So as you guys just saw, for roll number 2, I got 18, and the prompt for that is neurodivergent representation. So what I've decided that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go and watch a video from Literary Lily. I will link her channel in the description below, and anyone else I happen to talk about, by the way, because I know that recently she made a video where she gave some recommendations for autism rep in books, so I thought that that might be a good place to find a book for this one. So let's go and check that out now. Alright, so it is 10 autistic books I want to read soon.
Hi, my name is Lily and welcome back to my channel. In this
Alright, so the first one, The Boy Who Steals Houses. And the girl, I can't read that, the girl who does something else. The Girl Who Steals His Heart. I mean, maybe, we'll see. Not sure, I haven't heard of that one, so not sure about that one. But let's see what else we've got on offer. Oh, okay. The next one she's talking about is Earthlings by Sayaka Murata. So as you guys may know, I read Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata last year sometime, and I quite enjoyed it, so I'd be interested to read another book by Sayaka Murata. I have heard that Earthlings is really good, but I've heard that it's really hard-hitting, so that's a maybe. That's a maybe. Oh, okay. The next one that she has suggested that she wants to read is The Bride Test by Helen Huang. This is a book that I haven't been super interested in until recently. I'm not a huge romance reader, as you guys probably know, but I have started recently getting a bit more interested in romance. I've read a few romance books that have been really good, but also I've been hearing some great things about this one throughout my time on Booktube. So yeah, I think I might go with that one. The Bride Test by Helen Huang. And now on to roll number 3. 9. What's this one going to be? Book into Film Club. Alright, awesome. And let's replace that one. This is what we're going to replace it with. Okay, and for roll number 3, I got 9, and for this one, it is Book into Film Club. So that's fantastic. That means that whatever book we end up choosing for the Book into Film Club, I can count towards my TBR rather than having to add another one on, which is what I usually have to do. So we haven't actually chosen this book yet, but the way that we've been doing it is that I have a list on my phone, and then I've numbered them, and then I use a random number generator to decide which book / movie we're going to do. I usually do this on the day that we meet and watch the movie and chat, which is this coming Saturday, but since I am now filming, I might as well do it now, since really there's actually no reason why it has to be done on the day. So I'll put up on the screen the list and everything. Alright, so we have 27 books / movies, so we need 1 to 27, so let's get our random number generator, minimum of 1 and a maximum of 27, generate, and it's number 8, which is number 8, The Girl on the Train, which I do actually have on my bookshelf, but I'll put it here. Yeah, Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. I've actually read this book before, but I really enjoy it, and I'm more than happy to read it again. So there you go, Book into Film Club members. That is the book we will be reading next session. And now let's do roll number 4. Here we go. We've got a very helpful Peanut. Thanks, Peanut. All right, roll number 4 is 16. Is this one here? Disability Rep. And let's get the next one out. I'm not going to look. Alright, so roll number 4, I got 16, which gave me the prompt disability representation, which is really cool because Harper in the Curse Breaker trilogy has cerebral palsy. So Harper, therefore, will be our disability representative in the series, so that means that I can read a Heart So Fierce and Broken for disability rep, so that is one of my buddy reads covered, so that's fantastic because at the moment I have a lot of roles I have to do, so anything on top would be a bit sad. So that's fantastic that I get to read that one. Plus, I'm also excited to read this book. I've heard fantastic things about this one. It is the second book in the Curse Breaker trilogy. I just realised that I haven't actually been saying what any of these books are about, so I'll tell you a little bit about this particular one and then we'll go backwards. So Fierce and Broken, like I said, is the second book in the Curse Breaker trilogy. I don't know a huge amount about what happens in this one, but in the first one it is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. We follow Harper, who is a girl from Washington DC, sort of regular our world, who is taken from our world into another world, and it is a Beauty and the Beast storyline. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really well done, and I'm really looking forward to reading Heart So Fierce and Broken with Kat from Brews and Reviews. So going backwards, library book I will have already inserted, so hopefully I've told you what that one is about. Brian tests I actually don't know really very much about this one at all, so I can't really tell you. And then The Girl on the Train is about a woman who who travels to work every day on a train, and she travels past the same set of houses, one of which is a house where she used to live with her husband, who now lives there with his new wife, and the other is just a couple that she sort of has become somewhat obsessed with. Then one day she sees something that she thinks is very suspicious, and she starts to try to insert herself into a murder investigation, and yeah, it goes from there. Alright, so what are we on? Let's do roll number 5. 18. Is that our second 18? Yes, it is. Oh dear. A Borrowed Book. Alright, next one. Going on 18 there. Okay, so for roll number 5, I rolled 18, which is my second 18, so fingers crossed I don't get one more, and it was a borrowed book. So for this one, I decided that I'm going to read Dawn, which is the first book in the Xenogenesis book by Octavia Butler. I don't really know much about this one. This is sci-fi. As you guys know, I read Kindred in June and I really enjoyed it, so I'm really excited to read some more Octavia Butler. Rowan and I currently have a friend of Rowan's living with us at the moment, so he has, I don't actually know if he's given me this book or lent it to me. I assume he's lent it to me, so we're going to say this is a borrowed book. So yeah, that one there. And let's do roll number 6. Roll number 6 is a 9. Could you see that? Just about. I think I may have to get some bigger dice. No, number 9 again. Oh dear. Number 9. A one-word title. Let's replace that card. And for roll number 6, I got the number 9, which is my second number 9. So fingers crossed that one doesn't end up coming up again. So for this one, I got one-word title. And this one works out really, really well because Ellie from Earl Grey Books and I did say a little while ago that we would buddy read some Pratchett. So Ellie's at the moment reading Terry Pratchett Discworld series in chronological order. I have read, I think, all of the Terry Pratchett Discworld books, but they're some of my favourite books. So I said to Ellie, hey, can I jump in and read some of them with you as you go through? So the next book that she is up to is Sorcery, which is a one-word title. So that works out really, really well. So this is the 4th book, I think, in the Discworld series. I'll read the blurb to you. There was an 8th son of an 8th son. He was quite naturally a wizard. And there it should have ended. However, for reasons we'd better not go into, he had 7 sons. And then he had an 8th son, a wizard squared, a source of magic, a sorcerer. Dun dun dun. I love me some Pratchett, so I'm super excited to read this one with Ellie. Alright, let's go and do roll number 7. 17. A pretty cover. Ooh. Alright, and replace it. And for roll number 7, I rolled 17, so that number hasn't come up yet, so thank goodness for that. And this one was to read a book with a pretty cover. As soon as it came up, I had an idea of the book that I'd like to read. And this is The Kingdom of the Wicked by Kerry Maniscalco. So I know it's got a giant skull in the middle of it, but I happen to think this is an absolutely beautiful cover. I love all of this work around the title. I love all of the flowers around the skull, and I just think it's really, really, really well done. It was also a present for my birthday from Connor, from Connor's Library Corner, so thank you very much, Connor. This is a book I know very little about as well, so let's read the blurb for this one also. 2 sisters, 1 murder. A quest for vengeance that will unleash hell itself. Amelia and her twin sister, Vittoria, have been inseparable all their lives. As Straig, witches who exist secretly among humans. They know the dangers of drawing attention and work at their family's renowned Sicilian restaurant, avoiding notice and persecution. But one night, Vittoria doesn't come home, and it's not long before a distraught Amelia discovers the body of her beloved twin, desecrated beyond belief. Devastated, Amelia vows to find her sister's killer and seek vengeance at any cost, even if it means calling upon a dark magic that has been long forbidden. Then Amelia meets Wrath, one of the wicked, princesses of hell that she has been warned against since she was a child. Wrath claims to be on Amelia's side, tasked by his master with solving a series of murders on the island, of which Vittoria is the latest victim. But when it comes to the wicked, nothing is as it seems. So I've heard really, really great things about this one, so I'm super excited to read this one as well. Let's go ahead and do roll number 8. Is 11. I don't think we've had 11 yet. No, we have not. Excellent, excellent. Over here. A favourite author's first book. And we'll place that. Alright, and for roll number 8, I rolled an 11, which again hasn't come up yet, so phew! We're doing okay at the moment. For this one, I got a favourite author's first book. So, as you guys know, if you watched my mid-year freakout tag, but also just what I've been talking about all year, one of my new favourite authors that I have discovered this year is Sarah J. Maas. So I am going to read Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. This is her first ever book. This is the first book in the Throne of Glass series. I know that we follow a assassin or a apprentice assassin. She's offered a deal by the king, and yeah, she decides to take it. So it's all very mysterious and yeah, it sounds really great. Lots of different people have mentioned that they love this series, and people who love Sarah J. Maas love this series. I know it's her first book, so I'll try not to expect too much from it, because obviously, as you guys know, I'm loving the ACOTAR series and I loved Crescent City. But yeah, I'm super excited to get to this one. Roll number 9. A 4. Plus size rep. And replace the card. Okay, so for roll number 9, I rolled a 4, which again hasn't come up yet, so still crossing my fingers. And for this one, I got plus size representation as my prompt. So I saw the other day that Bethany from Beautifully Bookish Bethany did a video about plus size representation, and in that she mentioned Take a Hint, Danny Brown, which is the second book in the Brown Sisters trilogy by Talia Hibbert. As you guys probably know, I read Get a Life, Chloe Brown earlier this year, and I did quite enjoy it, and I'm very keen to read the next one in the series. I've heard from many people, including people that absolutely love this series and love Talia Hibbert, that Take a Hint, Danny Brown is their favourite. So I'm really excited to read this one, and yeah, it has plus size representation. Alright, and roll number 10. Number 1. Oh no. Oh dear. A colour wheel pick. Alright. And for roll number 10, as you guys saw, I rolled a 1. Which means I have to add another roll on to the rolls. So at the moment we are on 15 rolls. I now have to do another one, which means we have 16. I don't think I can read 16 books. I can barely read 8 books, but let's see how we go. So it was colour wheel pick, so I'm going to do that now. So let's get the colour wheel up. Okay, let's go. Blue. Okay, so a book with blue on the cover. I'm going to leave you right now and pause the camera and go and see if I can find a book with blue on the cover. So I will be right back. Okay, so I actually didn't go very far because I realised that I actually had the perfect book sitting right here because I was talking about it earlier since I haven't finished it, and that is A Torch Against the Night by Sabaa Tahir. As you can see, it has blue on the cover, and I am part way through the book. I'm over halfway through the book, so definitely want to get this finished. So this is the second book in the series by Sabaa Tahir. I think it's just called An Ember in the Ashes, which is the name of the first book. And this is about we have dual perspective, and it's about a young woman who is a member of the scholars sort of caste, I guess, and then there is a young man who's a member of the Marshals, and the Marshals conquered the scholars many years ago and sort of have essentially enslaved them. It's sort of a bit of a political story. It's about Elias, who is the boy, and Laya, who is the girl, teaming up to try and kind of bring down the empire. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this one. Like I said, I paused it merely because of timings of when to read books, so I'm looking forward to getting back into it and to finish it off. So I'm glad that I managed to get a colour that would work for this one, so yay. Alright, and now moving on to roll number 11. 17, which is our second 17. Oh gosh, let's hope we don't get that again. Alright, what is it going? Oh, we forgot to replace number 1. 17. A gift or from a subscription box. Nice. For roll number 11, I rolled 17, which is our second 17. So again, let's cross our fingers. For this one, the prompt is a gift or from a subscription box. So for this one, I have decided to go with Am I Normal Yet by Holly Bourne. This was a gift for my birthday from Ellie. So thank you very much, Ellie. And yeah, I've heard really great things about this one. It's quite a few different people's favourite book. I don't know a huge amount about it, so I will just read the blurb to you as well. All Evie wants is to be normal. And now that she's almost off her meds and at a new college where no one knows her as the girl who went nuts, there's only one thing left to tick off her list. But relationships can mess with anyone's head. Something Evie's new friends, Amber and Lottie, know only too well. The trouble is, if Evie won't tell them her secrets, how can they stop her making a huge mistake? So yeah, it sounds really great. Like I said, it's quite a few different people's favourite books here on BookTube, including Ellie's. So I'm really excited to read this one and see what everyone's been talking about. Let's go to roll number 12, but before we do that, I just want to apologise if you can hear a bunch of crashing and banging in the background. My flatmate is making lunch, which, you know, fair enough. Alright, so moving on to roll number 12. Number 4. Oh no, number 4. That's our second 4. Alright, let's see what the card is. Oh, New York Times best-selling author. Okay. And we'll replace number 4. And we got a 4, which is our second 4. So fingers crossed again. And we got a New York Times best-selling author, which is really, really great because it means that I can add A Reaper at the Gates by Sabah Tahir to my TBR, which is the 3rd book in the Ember in the Ashes series. So yay, that's fantastic because I've been trying to read this series for a while now. Somehow it just kind of keeps getting put on the back burner or interrupted. So yeah, I'm excited to read this one. And let's go and do roll number 13. Number 8. Which is a book over 500 pages long. Wow, my game does not like me today. Place number 8. Okay, so for roll number 13, I rolled 8, which got me over 500 pages long. This TBR game does not like me very much today. 16 rolls that I have to do so far, and now I have to read a book over 500 pages long. I just don't know how I'm going to go in August. I think September is going to end up with heaps of punishments for me. But anyway, for this one, I've actually decided that I'm going to read The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. Cece from Cece's Reading Journey and Anna from... oh no, I've totally forgotten her YouTube channel name, but I will link them in the description below. Are running a Wheel of Time read-along starting in August with the first book, The Eye of the World. So I'm really excited and I do really, really want to join in because I've been thinking to myself that I'd like to quite like to try and read the Wheel of Time series again. I read the first, I think, 11 books and then just didn't finish the series, but it's been a long time since I read any of them, so I'm super excited because I really do want to reread them, but August is going to be a hell of a month. So we'll just see how we go. But anyway, for a book over 500 pages long, we're going to go with The Eye of the World. And let's go and do roll number 14. 15, and that is Set in Another World. Place number 15. Whoops. And for roll number 14, I rolled a 15, which gave me Set in Another World. And again, this works out really, really well because, as I told you guys before, Kat from Brews and Reviews and I decided to buddy read both the 2nd and 3rd book from the Cursebreaker trilogy. So I will be reading A Vow So Bold and Deadly for Set in Another World because the majority of the series takes place in another world. So I think that counts. And yeah, I'm super excited to read this one. So there you go. Roll number 15. A 4. Oh dear. That's our 3rd 4. That means we have to add another. Yep. Billy doesn't like me today. Alright, a friend picks. Okay. And replace. And for roll number 15, I rolled a 4, which is my 3rd 4, which means I have to add another roll. This game does not like me at all today. Oh well, what can you do? I got friend picks, so I'm just texted Ellie from Earl Grey Books to ask her if she could choose and sent through my owned TBR shelf on Goodreads, so Ellie's going to check that out and get back to me hopefully soon so that I can let you know what book I'll be reading. Just got a message from Ellie and she has been very, very kind and chosen The Empress of Salt and Fortune, which is a very short book which I own on my e-reader. I didn't ask Ellie to choose a short book for me. I didn't even tell her how many rolls I had to do or books I had to pick, so she just very kindly chose a short book for me. So thank you so much, Ellie. I don't know very much about this one. I know that it's a fantasy novella and that's pretty much all that I know. I know that quite a few different people have read it recently and really, really enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading this one and seeing what I think of it myself. Let us hope that I've only got 2 more rolls because we've got roll number 16 and 17 to go. I've got a couple of numbers that I could roll again and have to add again, and I could still roll a 1. But anyway, fingers crossed. We're going to go and do roll number 16. It's a 4, but that's okay, because that's okay. Okay. Last to read book club. Oh, fantastic. That's fantastic. All right, and we'll replace number 4. All right, so for roll number 16, I got a 4, but that's okay because the fact that I got 3 4s before meant that it restarted. So we've only got 1 more roll after this, so I can't end up with 3 4s again. Anyway, for this one, I got the last to read club, which means I get to read my book club book, which is Every Breath. So I'm really excited about that, and thank goodness I got to add it on because I don't know how I would have added yet another book. But yeah, I'm going to be reading Every Breath as well. This is one of the books that I have to prioritize since it is my book club. So I'll just read the blurb to you because I don't really know a huge amount about this one. Rachel Watts has just moved to Melbourne from the country, but the city is the last place she wants to be. James Mycroft is her neighbour, an intriguingly troubled 17-year-old who is also a genius with a passion for forensics. Despite her misgivings, Rachel finds herself unable to resist Mycroft when he wants her help investigating a murder. He's even harder to resist when he's up close and personal and on the hunt for a cold-blooded killer. When Rachel and Mycroft follow the murderer's trail, they find themselves in the lion's den. Literally. A trip to the zoo will never have quite the same meaning again. Well, there you go. But yeah, I'm really excited about it. It sounds fantastic. And like I said, this is Ellie's favourite book. So we seem to have a very Ellie-centric month this month. I'm okay with that. Alright, so fingers crossed we're doing our last roll. Phew! It's a 10. I don't think we've got a 10 yet. Phew! Alright, what is our last roll? Subscriber's choice. Oh, well that'll be fun. And it was our last roll. We got a 10, which means we are safe. We don't have to do any more rolls. Thank goodness, because honestly, 17 books are a little too many for me. But it's what the roll said. What are you going to do? Anyway, for this one I got subscriber's choice. So I'm going to show you 3 books now that I would like you to tell me which one you think I should read. So we have On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. So I'll just read the blurb to you so you can help decide. 16-year-old Bree wants to be one of the greatest rappers of all time. It's hard to get your come up though when you're labelled trouble at school and your fridge at home is empty after your mum loses her job. But Bree's success is all that stands between her family and homelessness. So she doesn't just want to make it, she has to, even if it means becoming exactly what the public expects her to be. So I read The Hate You Give earlier, I think last year actually, and I really enjoyed it. Gave it 5 stars. I've heard this one is equally as good, so I'm super excited to read this one as well. The next book that I'd like you to potentially consider choosing is Amal Unbound by Aisha Saeed. This book I bought recently on the suggestion recommendation of Mo from Paperback Mo. Amal loves learning and dreams of becoming a teacher. Then something unimaginable happens. After an accidental run-in with the son of her village's corrupt landlord, she is forced to be his mother's servant in order to pay off her own family's debt. At the opulent and corrupt Khan estate, Amal realizes she will have to find a way to work with others to bring about change and to achieve her dreams. Inspired by Malala Yousafzai, Amal Unbound is a heartwarming story for brave girls everywhere. And the final option is Good Girl, Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. This is the sequel to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which I read earlier this year. As you know, Pip Fitz-Amobi is not a detective anymore. Her true crime podcast about the murder case she solved last year has gone viral, yet Pip insists her investigating days are behind her. But she will have to go back on her word when someone close to her goes missing, and the police can't do anything about it. If they won't investigate, then Pip will, uncovering more of her town's dark secrets along the way. But will she find the answers before time runs out? So I think all 3 of these books sound fantastic. So let me know in the comments below which one you think I should read, and whichever book has the most comments saying read this one is the one that I will read. So those are your options. Okay guys, so this is the rather ridiculous pile that I have to read, plus quite a few ebooks, and then of course one of these 3. So, I really don't know how I'm going to go this next month in August, but we'll see. I think September is going to have a lot of punishments, but again, we'll see how we go. So please comment below which of the 3 books that I just held up that you would like to see me read in August, or if you have any thoughts on any of the other books that I've chosen that I'll be reading throughout the month of August, or any other comments at all. Please do comment all of those things below and let me know. If you would like to leave me a comment but you don't know what, then I would love it if you would leave me some kind of sad or scared face, because I have so many books that I have to read. I'm a little bit scared, so leave me some kind of sad or scared emoji. All of my social media details are listed in the description below, so if you'd like to go and follow me on any of those other platforms, please feel free to do so. Thank you so much for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would absolutely love it if you would subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Like I said, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.